issues, generating thoughts, and having courageous conversations in the community where communication develops unification. And now your host, Rivers the preacher and Rod the teacher.
All right.
Good morning, good morning.
Great day.
This is Harvest for the World with Rod the teacher.
And Rivers the preacher.
We are sponsored by Bethlehem Judah Ministries, where we teach how to be victors and not victims. My name is Rivers Taylor. I am the pastor of Bethlehem Judah Ministries. I'm a retired educator. I house homeless vets. I have 2 group homes that I sponsor.
And I'm Rod Barnes, Roderick, and I'm a 29-year public educator, STEM, technology education. I'm a mentor, coach, community activist, and originator of the Hampton Roads Peninsula Youth Leadership Conference, which our 5th annual will be in September. And I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated.
Well, we're here to introduce our format today, and we just want to share with you what we'll be talking about in the coming weeks and coming months. We're going to be discussing community issues. Our focus is going to be on community, aka the village. Right, what does that mean to you, community?
Community. I spell that with a lowercase COMM and uppercase, all uppercase UNITY. Communication develops unification. And that is or was the village.
And you know, back in the day, the village was when all neighbors knew one another, plus their children knew each other. And they worked together. They made sure that everybody in the village, the community, the neighborhood was safe.
That's right.
You know, and they had respect for one another. They were sensitive to each other's needs. If somebody needed a cup of sugar, if somebody needed some milk, they just went by the next door and got it. No questions asked.
That's right. And I'll never forget my grandmother, and across the street was Miss Holloman. My grandmother and Miss Holloman, they both worked in the yard all the time. And as they worked in the yard, they talked about what was going on in the neighborhood. They talked about their daughters and their children. And this is how the community communicated, and everybody knew each other.
And that was so important back in the day, and that's what we're missing right now. I think Rod's concept, I like it when he and I talk about it. He said we need to put the neighbor back in the hood.
That's right.
Neighborhood.
That's right.
Is that right, Rod?
That's right. We got to put the neighbor back in the hood. We left with the hoods because we don't communicate with each other. I hate when I have neighbors and they go to work, don't know how to speak in the morning, but they come home, run in the house, weekend, you never see them.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're doing. You don't know your neighbors. So how can you protect one another? And this pandemic has showed us that it's important to know one another. Now, another topic that we're going to be talking about during the next coming week is education. Now, y'all know right now with the pandemic, we're doing virtual learning, a little bit of in-person learning, and educational innovations. Rod, you want to touch on that for a second?
Well, we did virtual learning, and now we got some of our students in in-person learning. So they call that hybrid, okay? So virtual learning is not going away. But the main thing is that we educate our kids. And I want Dr. King once said, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education.
So what I hear you saying is that not only do they learn subject matter, but education is part of our character, our attitude. Our attitude represents our altitude. If you have a good
Yes.
attitude,
I
you
like
will
that.
elevate yourself. If you have a positive image of who you are, you'll elevate yourself.
Yes.
But if you got a negative image of who you are, you lower yourself. You don't
That's right.
reach your goals, your potential that you have. Is that what I hear you saying?
In other words, you can be highly educated, but have a bad character, and it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem because you just got knowledge, but you don't know how to use the knowledge. Now, with this new educational model we're looking at, you know, I believe I heard you say there's going to be a hybrid where they're going to be online technology and in-person learning at the same time. And education is so far behind corporate America.
Wow. So that brings another idea where we have to reinvent education or our schools. The classroom should not be still looking like rows of desks, and then the teacher's desk is in the front. It should be more innovative. It should, like you said, Brother Taylor, we ought to be more in tune with the workplace and what's going on in the rest of the world or community.
You know, when I look at little kids at the age of 2, I got grandchildren the age of 2, 4, 8, and 9. And I watch them on computers. They are not afraid of computers. They'll jump on the computer and just hunt all day long looking for their little things. Mm-hmm. And we need, as educators, we need to take advantage of that at such a young age. I like the suggestions that are going around now in different states and started educating them before pre-K and all the way into community college. It's important. They need more than just 12 years and then just put them out of high school. What you think, Rod?
And we also, another thing is we have to look at the gifts and talents. We need the basics, but my opinion is by high school, we should be looking more at what that individual is gifted at and talented at, and gear their education toward those things.
That's good, Rod. One thing I like to say is that preparation is preparing you for your opportunities. In other words, if you are prepared when an opportunity comes, you can step right in that door.
That's right.
Now, another topic we want to talk about during the coming weeks and months is health and wellness and the disparity in our community. Rod, what you think about that?
Well, we know that health insurance is a key component to our community health. People who have good health insurance are going to go to the doctor and take care of their health better. And the better your health insurance is, the less you have to pay, like your deductible and things like that. Those are the type of things that keep people from going to the doctor, taking care of their health.
We were just talking about that this morning.
That's right.
When we were talking about sleep apnea, and you were saying the machine, even with the insurance, you still got to pay $500.
That's right.
For the machine.
Yep.
That's a disparity.
Yes, it
and
is.
I agree with you on health insurance. But we as a people have a responsibility to take hold of our own health in some ways.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get out there and maybe exercise. We need to watch what we eat. We can't live at McDonald's, Wendy's, and Chick-fil-A. We need to make sound meals at home and eat correctly
That's right.
according to our bodies.
That's right.
It's not a lot of times what we eat. Sometimes we just overindulge.
And the time that we eat.
That's right.
Shouldn't
That's
eat
correct.
9 and 10 o'clock
You should eat
and
no
then go to
full meal
bed.
and then go to bed on it. Because that is terrible. That's not good for your health.
Not good for your health at all.
That's right. That's right.
And nobody can do this for you but yourself. This is the
yourself.
responsibility piece that we're talking about.
And being in the ministry over 30 years, Rod, I've seen so many people say to me about their health when they're dealing with things is that, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to eat this greasy stuff. I'm going to die anyway. They say that until you go see them in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
When you go see them in the hospital and they're on their dying bed, they're not going to talk about dying anyway. Then they're concerned about, I'm getting ready to leave this world. I got sickness. I got diabetes. I got high blood pressure. Something wrong with my heart. But these are issues, again, that we're going to be covering and bring in guests in the next coming months and weeks. Now, another topic we're going to talk about, respect for ourselves and respect for others.
Respect. RESPECT. Aretha told us that a long time ago. Hey, when we talk about respect, one thing we have to think about, our children have to receive respect in order to give respect. You remember the old saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can't love anybody else until you love yourself.
And that is so true, Rod. And I think one of the problems is that I think we see a lot of disrespect because we don't, as you just said, don't love who we are.
That's a big
We
piece.
have not been taught to love the skin we're in. We are not going to look like one another. We are not going to act like one another. But we can respect one another.
That's right.
Especially if we have respect and love for who we are. And that starts in the home. The parent is the primary educator
Yes.
of their children. Rod, you want to speak on that for a second?
That is so important. School is not going to fully educate your child. Teachers, your schools are partners in that process. And it's a process. I'm a technology education teacher and I deal in processes. And education is a process that's not going to just happen at school. It's not going to just happen at home. It needs to be happening all of the time. No matter what you're doing, if you're the parent, your child is watching you.
Watching everything you do. You see, sometimes we think education is about topics, history, math, English, science, biology. What we fail to realize is that holistic education means educating the whole child. That means also in character.
That's right.
And attitude.
That's right.
It's all right to teach your child how to say thank you. It's all right to teach your child how to say may I. It's all right to do those things. The reason being is that you are teaching them how to evolve in today's society. I notice people are surprised when my grandchild 2 and my grandchild 4 and my grandchild 8 and 9 say thank you and may I. But that is up to the parents to teach their children. Rob?
That's right. Parents, but actually, not just parents. You know, it was a Facebook post that said, if a young person call you Unc or OG, then you need, if you see them doing something wrong, you need to correct them.
Because a lot of people don't understand that Unc and OG is a sign of respect as you being an elder. But we're going to talk about that at another time.
That's right.
Rod, another topic that we're going to be talking about and mentioning is mentorship.
Yes.
Now, Rod and I have worked together. We've worked together as teachers in middle school, but we've done a lot of work in the community. Community.
That's right.
Communication develops
Unification.
Unification.
And the key thing about mentoring, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and he's a counselor, and he was talking about mentoring some elementary boys. And the first thing came to mind, he asked me for some suggestions, and the first thing came to mind is that you have to listen. You have to listen to the children. And a lot of times when we're dealing with young people, we want to tell them and continuously tell them things. So we have to listen to see what's on the young people's mind. So listening is a key component to mentoring, believe it or not.
You know, Rod, I'm glad you mentioned that because when you and I like to talk a lot, you know,
That's
we
right.
talk, we share, we jump from one topic to another topic. We talk about sports, we talk about politics, we talk about gun violence, we talk about community all the time.
That's right.
But when you are a talker, you have to learn how to be a listener.
That's right.
And being a listener means that you need to be quiet and not trying to process what you're going to say next. But being a listener means you need to take in what they are telling you and listen to it and try to get to a point where you can give it back to them and help them to solve whatever problem they have.
Feedback.
There you go, Rod.
Feedback is very important in that process.
Now, presently, Rod and we are about to sign up for a mentorship program in Newport News Public Schools. It's called RISE.
Yeah.
They want 100 men working with 100 boys. If there's anybody that's right now listening to us, we ask you to look up RISE for Newport News Public Schools. Also, Hampton Public Schools has the same program. I'm presently mentoring, well, before the pandemic, mentoring a 7th grader. I just go over there once a week, and we sit down during his lunchtime, and we talk about things, everything. You know, school, home, everything. And we need mentors, people that want the best for others.
That's right.
Now, Ron, another topic that we wanted to speak on in the coming weeks and months is building generational wealth.
Yes. So we have to get rid of the old mindset that I can't take it to the grave with me. You're not supposed to take it to the grave with you.
That's right.
You're supposed to leave it for your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, and this is how we're going to build generational wealth so we can gain as a people what we need to do in this community, in the world.
That's true, Rod. That's true. You know, the thing about it is that our foreparents did not understand that concept.
That's right.
You know, they didn't understand the concept of building generational wealth. And what happens is that the next generation got to do their own thing. You got to go to school, got to buy a house, got to try to save money, got to send your children to college, those type of things, got to prepare for retirement. But if each family would start saving, like my wife and I, Shirley, are starting to start savings for our grandchildren.
That's great.
Now, we missed the boat with our children. They had to go to school. They had to get those student loans. And
but
all
you learn
that.
from your
You learn from your mistakes, and you do what? You try to write them for the next generation.
Continuously to do better.
So that's how you build generational wealth. You start putting away. If you have grandchildren out there, start putting away for your grandchildren. Help your children out with their children.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. You know how it is raising children. You raise your children. Now help your children with their children. And hopefully it'll keep on in the cycle.
All right.
And building generational wealth.
So just a couple of more. We're not going to spend too much more time on our topics, but gun violence and community violence is going to be something that we're going to look at. And also, we're going to look at spiritual, physical, and mental wellness.
Yeah, with gun violence, I'm glad you brought that up, Rod, because gun violence is threefold. It's threefold. One is to ourselves. Another is police brutality. And a third is gun control. These are very important.
Very important.
Because if you talk on these topics, you talk on these topics, violence in our neighborhoods, what can we do about violence in our neighborhoods? You know, can we come together and start sharing about the violence in our neighborhoods, what we're doing to ourselves? You know, police brutality. I am not a proponent of defunding the police, but I am a proponent of having police reform.
That's right. Putting money into helping the police deal with these things that they're having problems with.
It's a brand new ball game now, Rod. We're looking at a brand new ball game.
And we need policemen from our community. We're having policemen and people that's policing that's not even familiar with where they're policing.
Right. Well, with the community that
they're working in.
You know, we had a police captain that's in the East End that knew the community. Whatever we would do in the community, East End and Newport News, he would come to our church. He would be at the schools. He is learning. His face was so familiar that the people knew who he was.
That was great.
And that's so important. Okay? Another topic we want to talk about is reading. You know, it breaks my heart when I hear young people say, I don't like to read.
Reading is fundamental.
It's so important because the fact that if you don't like to read, how you going to learn? How you going to get ahead of the curve? I get up in the morning and read every morning. I didn't say I read a whole book in the morning, but I read every morning.
But look, with the internet,
yeah,
you got to read some. It's not all video. So even you're lost with the technology sometimes.
Yeah. Now, as we're talking about reading, we're talking about for your spiritual, for your physical, and for your mental. It is so, so important that we do this because it's so important that we do this, and we need to share that with our children. My children, when they were young, used to say, Dad, the reason we like to read is when we saw you and Mom reading all the time.
There you go. Parent, teaching, by example.
Primary educators of their children.
That's right.
We cannot tell them what to do if we're not
we
doing
can
it
show them a lot better, or they can see a lot more than they can hear.
Okay. Now, as we talk about these topics, each one that we just went through, we want to inform you that we will be bringing in guests and people with expertise in each area. You know, we hope that we can get one of the police chiefs to come in and share with us because we cannot just talk. Well, we have to have a holistic.
It's no telling who we're going to have to come in because I know Pastor Taylor and myself, we know a lot of people. So we're going to have people calling in. We'll have people, guests, but also we're going to open the phone line sometimes to hear from you.
And that's important, that we want to know what's important to you. We want to be here for you. And we want you to know that the whole idea is we want to find solutions. We know we got problems. And we can talk about problems all day and all night. But let's talk about solutions. Let's make it happen. If you remember, I told you that my church, we talk about being a victor and not a victim.
Oh, right. Yes. So we have to address the problem. I'm a problem solver. But we're going to focus on solution.
We're going to focus on solutions. And this is so important. So let's reiterate right quickly. Community, a.k.a. the village, which means
Communication develops unification. And we have to, I'm going to tell you, if you can do one thing for us, get to know your neighbor.
Get to know your neighbor. Do that. Let's put the neighbor back in the hood.
Back in the hood.
So we can have what we call the neighborhood.
The neighborhood. And then that will develop into what we call the village.
The village. Again, we want to just thank our sponsor, Bethlehem Judah Ministries, for sponsoring us today. We thank the people over there where they teach about being a victor and not a victim. Rod?
Yep, and I'd like to thank everyone, my Facebook people and everything for joining us.
Okay, and this is Rod the Teacher.
And Rivers the Preacher.
Stay tuned for us next week at 9:30, where we will be talking about Mother's Day.
All right. In the community.
Great show, guys.
That's the
Man,
outro.
you got to say that because you get paid, but tell the truth.
Nah, man, I keep it real around here.
You're listening to Harvest for the World.
All right.
Rivers the Preacher and Rod the Teacher.
Have a girl.
Find them on Facebook. Harvest for the World.
And Sylvia,
That's H-A-R-V-E-S-T,
thanks for joining us.
the number 4,
And we will be here every Saturday
Rivers the
at
Preacher
9:30
and Rod the Teacher
to
will
10
be
o'clock.
back next week with Harvest for the World.
Signing off.
Here on WTJ.